So I'll create a package first. So Alt insert package chapter 14, and I will just take the name of say using object stream field. Okay, it's using object stream field. I will copy this chapter name again and create the similar in test. So Alt insert package control V. So we have got packages created for chapter 14 using object stream field. Now again, to save some time, I will copy the first of all market data provider from the previous chapter. So I'll copy this, control C, control V, and I will change the name. Something as whitelisting maybe, market data provider whitelisting. By whitelisting means that we are going to use object stream field class. Okay, so I've created this, and let me implement serializable here. Implement serializable. Okay, so then we have to, because we are seeing a warning here, we have to create a constant field which is serial version UID. I created it now. So let me see other things equals. It's all looking good. We have got market data provider whitelisting, which has got a private string name as a field member. We got a constructor to initialize this. We have got getters and setters, a toString method, and equals and hash code. Equals means that if the name of two objects are same, then both the objects equals method would return true. So this is for the market data provider. Now let's write our actual Pojo class. So again, to save some time, I will copy this from the previous chapter. Control C, Control V, and I will change the name, something simpler. Maybe okay, white listing, market data white listing. Okay. So first of all, let me do some cleanup here. So I will first of all remove this and regenerate this. Alt enter, create constant field. Okay, and I will remove this transient because we don't need transient anymore. We are doing a whitelisting, and I will change the name of this market data provider as whitelisting. Okay, and let me first of all remove this getters and setters as well as toString method. Okay, I will. Okay, so Alt insert getter and setter, Control A, okay, and then I will also implement the toString method here. Alt insert toString, okay. Now we have got all these getters and setters and toString method available. Now let's write our object stream field class. Now we can see that if we use the default serialization process, all these fields, security ID, time, open, high, low class, all these fields would be by default serialized or deserialized as a part of default JVM serialization process. And because we haven't marked even transient for any fields, now suppose I only want to serialize or deserialize only few fields out of all these fields. For example, I just want to do security ID, time, and maybe just last. These three fields I want to be a part of serialization and deserialization process. Rest all the fields I would like to discard it because it's not important, and I just need these three fields to be taking part in the JVM serialization process. So for that, please note that it's a very unique syntax that we should always follow. So we have to provide private static final fields, which is part of object stream field, and it is marked as an array because we have to use 3 fields here. And I will name it as serial persistent fields. Always marked as private static final as an array. And now I need to declare this array with 3 fields that I have chosen. So here again, it should be new because this is ObjectStreamField class, right? So I will take new ObjectStreamField. And here I will, first of all, pass the variable name, which is security ID. And we know that the security ID is actually a string. So I have to pass string dot class. If you see here, string security ID is a string. Simply time is a long, and the last field is double. So you have to do it similarly. So, okay, so this is the not, I need to use a comma here, sorry. And let me just copy this for the 3 fields. And then I will, so first, the second field where we want to serialize this time. And we have seen that this is a type of long. And here instead of class, because it's a primitive field, so I have to use a type here. And similarly for last, I'll just copy this again, last, and for double, it should be type. Now, please note the difference here. For the objects, I am using string.class. Similarly, if I have got a reference object as well, for that also we have to use that reference object class name dot class. But for the primitive fields, it should be always like long dot type or integer dot type or double dot type. That's why, I mean, this is a very unique syntax for ObjectStreamField class. And this is why we have to follow this particular rule. Now we have whitelisted that, okay, these 3 fields are what we are interested in for serializing and deserializing process, right? So let me override this write object again. So the syntax is exactly same as what we did in the previous chapter. It should be private void write object and passing an object output stream as a method argument. And okay, we are inside this. Now let me change this. So here I will, in the fields. Okay, so first of all, I need to create final object output stream. Object output stream. And we have to use the put fields. Sorry, it should be put field. Okay, so we have to use put field. That what are the fields we want to write? Fields, and it should be os dot put fields. Okay. Guys, just see all the syntax. This is very important that it should be exactly following the same syntax as I'm putting it here. And now I need to put fields dot put. And then again choose security ID. Security ID followed with the name. So here it's a sort of like you can see, create like a map here, where the key is the actual string variable name with the actual value. And similarly, we'll put it for the other 3 fields. I'll put time, and here as well, and last. So this is our write object method. So again, revise this. So we have created this private static final, an array of ObjectStreamField, where we chose all those 3 fields or whatever field number of fields we want to put here. For the actual class, we always use dot class as a second parameter. And for the primitives, we always use dot type as the second parameter. And then in the write object method, we override the default serialization process where we are actually creating the put fields from object output stream and individually put all the fields value as a key value pair, where the first key is actually the actual string name of the variable followed with the value of the actual value. This is all about the write object. Now let's move on to read object. Okay, one thing I missed is I also need to write it to the output stream, object output stream. So os dot write fields. This is like whatever we have put in this fields, it would be written to the object output stream reference. Now we have to move to the read object. In the read object, let me remove this. We don't need this from the previous chapter. And now let me do the similar stuff. So I will, okay. So we have got is dot read fields. Read fields, okay. For example, here we put os dot put fields. In the read object, we have got is dot read fields. I have to Control Alt V, and then we have got, again, I will just put it as fields here, okay, and mark it as final. So I just wrote this and I press Control Alt V. So we have got a local reference of this variable. So ObjectInputStream.getField. Now we have to retrieve all these fields that we have written. So for that, the syntax is like this. The first is the security ID for this class. We have to get it by fields, these fields that we have read by using is.read fields. So the syntax is like this: fields.get, and we have to provide the security ID, the variable name. And the second parameter is that if somehow we don't get these values, so somehow we have to put a default as null here. Sorry, null. And as you see that there is an error, so Alt Enter. So I have to cast it to string. Okay, because right now it's, I think its default format is something as an object. So yeah, so you can see that object is written here. That's why we have to cast it back to string. Now similarly, I need to do it for other fields. Okay, so let me first of all fields.get time, right? So for time is a long, so default value should be 0L, and we don't need to cast it to any string. And time. So this is how we got the time back. And then for the last field, I will put as last, and I will mark, because this is a double, so I will mark it as 0D. So let's have a final revision here, that for the read object, we just use is.read fields and get ObjectInputStream.getField reference of fields, and from there we actually extracted all the fields and read all these variables back from the stream of bytes which were serialized. Now let's write some